guys, this is Raquel with Paints and Glitter. I wanted to come to you today with this quick and easy tutorial using some items from my stash. I've got some stamps by Chloe called Best Wishes, the Memorable Moments dies from Tonic. I just used a couple of dies from this set here, and I'll list them below, of course. And I also have used from Vicky Boutin the CreativeFX Iridescent Glaze. And there you see a little bit of that shine. I used it on the white cardstock. The stamp I used there 3 times. It does say happy birthday, and I just repeated that on itself. Then I also used this as an easel card. Of course, it's a little bit hard to show from this perspective, but I wanted to show you guys the final results. And then I'm going to walk you through how to make it. So I hope that you enjoy this tutorial. And of course, if you want to know more about that little shaker, I have a different video on that. Here I'm scoring a piece of 110-pound cardstock that I cut down to 10 by 7. I scored it at the 2.5 inch mark and the 5 inch mark. Then I folded it at the 5 inches, then folded it back at that 2.5 inch mark. And this is going to allow me to make that easel effect. I'm using the strongest adhesive that I can find on my desk here to put this together because of the weight of the cardstock. You want to make sure that you do have a sturdy base for this type of card if it's your first time making it. So that way it'll hold up all of the other elements that will be on there because it is quite dimensional. Now here what I've done is I've taken some really cool paper that I thought was appropriate. This card is for a teenager. So it reads snore, LOL, haha, funny, all of that. It's not a new piece of decorative paper, or I should say designer cardstock. However, I thought it fit the theme perfectly. I'm cutting it down just about a 1/16 of an inch smaller than the base of my card. So it's just under 5 by 7. And I love the colors on it. I love that it has that pink and black. I think it's really appropriate for a teenager. So I'm just adding some Nuvo adhesive to go ahead and adhere that base. And I am working from the inside out, so to speak. In other words, I'm using the panel here to decorate the inside of my card first. Just to make sure that it's more easily adhered. And then here is another 5 by 7 piece of paper that will go on top. And this is going to be the front of the card. So as you can see there, what I did was that I held it really sturdy or as much as possible. And then I took away the liner of that adhesive so that way my paper wouldn't shift when I'm putting it together. And then you see the mechanism. It's quite self-explanatory. Now I'm going to be using the same color paper on the front. However, I wanted to curl those little corners just to give it a little bit of interest. So I took one of my paint brushes, as you can tell there, and what I did was I just curled that little corner on both sides actually of that card. Then I wanted to have a little bit of a peekaboo color there. So I took a light pink piece of cardstock that matched my designer paper, and I only placed it on the 2 opposing corners where the paper is going to be curling. So that kind of saves you paper there if you're thinking of making this type of card. Is you don't need as much cardstock. And there you see how it just peaks on the little corners. But me, of course, I can't just leave anything simple. So I got out some of these stamps, and these are Heidi Swap hearts that I stamped on that pink paper just to add a little bit more interest. And now I'm adding that panel right on top with plenty of glue, of course. And that'll make sure it stays nicely. Now these little decorative elements I did cut out with a Spellbinders die set, and I'll list of course the details below on that. And this is where I decided to use that glaze. Now it is very subtle, and what I did notice about this is that it dries with a little bit of a gray cast to it. However, that's not a big deal. I still like the way that it looked. So if you're looking to expand the your cardstock, using glazes is a really wonderful way to get a new look. So there are the other elements I'll be using in my card, but as I said, I'm working from the inside out. So here's the panel that I cut out of the Tonic Studios die, and that's going to be where the sentiment can be written. but I first wanted to use this other little decorative piece, and that's also a Spellbinders die, and I glued that down so that I could place the little gems that are going to hold this card up once it's open. So there you see me placing 3 different gems, 1 in the center, 2 on the sides, and that'll be plenty to hold this card up without being too bulky. Now, I also wanted this to stand out from the background. I thought that it was a little bit too plain, so I cut this piece out again in gold, and you're going to see how I just stagger those together. And now that they're staggered, it pops up a little bit more from that background, and I can put my shaker element on top. This shaker I made a long time ago. I have a video on it, so if you want to look back, I think it's called Embellishments or something like that, but I'll try to link that video as well. Now these 2 little pieces here, I cut out of the Tonic Studios die, and as you can tell, that happy birthday I stamped 3 times on that one piece, but it peeks out from the background of that that shaker element. And the good thing is that because it was stamped 3 times, you still get the gist of what that says, even though it does get overlapped by that little camera. So to finish this, I added 3 pink gems on that upper portion of the card there, on the flourish, and then I repeated it again on the bottom there. So that way there would be some visual balance on the front of this card. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. Of course, I always say if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I love showing what I make with you guys, you know, here on YouTube, and I thoroughly enjoy getting to know each and every one of you guys. I hope that 2020 has been good to you so far. Thank you so much for watching, and hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. Bye-bye.